Free Her podcast, all things ending incarceration of women and girls, coming from Bangkok, Thailand. Really happy to be here, part of the international network of formerly incarcerated women, created out of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. And we are here with probably the most hot, warming interview that I have done and will ever do with my dear sister, co-founder of the National Council, co-founder of the International Network of Formerly Incarcerated Women, and also founder of Step Beyond Women and Girls out of Harlem, New York. Our dear sister, our fearless leader, Virginia Douglas. Welcome to the Free Her podcast.
Thank you, Olga. I'm so proud to be here. This is such a great moment right now today for us to be here together and share these moments together. And I can't tell you how powerful this moment is to be here with you.
What was it that caused you to care about somebody like me?
Because I was able to step right there in your shoes. I could have empathized with you. I've been there, and that's the hardest part of being in prison, the hardest part of being away, because it doesn't rehabilitate you, it doesn't help you in no kind of way, and the most the hurtful part of being in prison is being away from your family, is being away from your children, So I can feel your pain as you walked in the door, as you walk down the hallway, and then, but if you came through them doors, through the visiting room, and you walked down the hallway, you could see your pain on your face, and you know why I know? Because I know I had that pain. I felt that pain in my heart. I seen it in you, and it's very hard on us to leave our children, and especially you with a 5-month-old baby. That just broke my heart, and we're so far away. You all the way up in Boston, even though I wasn't as far away as you was, it's still heartbreaking and heartfelt to see someone being pulled away from their children like this.
And sent to a different state.
Because when I first got locked up, I was pulled away from my children and I was pulled away from my grandchildren, that who I was very, very close with. That every time I talked on the phone, she said, "Grandma, how much money do you need? How can I come get you out of there? Like, what did you do? Like, what's going on? And when are you coming home?" So every day I had to tell a lie. I'm coming home next week. I'm coming home tomorrow. I'm coming home next week. I'm coming home tomorrow. Until finally she grew up and had a baby of her own and came up there and said, "Well, are you going to tell the truth now? When are you coming home?"
Mm-hmm.
So it's just very hard for them. It's really hard how the system tear apart a family like that. Like, what kind of system do we live in that would go and just tear a family apart like that? And even for the crimes we committed, the non-violent transgressions we committed, it should be something else set in place where we don't have to go to prison. The system wastes a whole lot of money, break up the whole communities. If we could just give the people in the community what they need to strive and survive, we don't need this prison system.
Well, let me ask you a little bit about the organizing that we started to do inside, and it really just started as conversations.
Right.
It wasn't like there was this whole system of an organizing inside. We just, as the women who were incarcerated, felt what? What were you feeling? What caused you to say, maybe there is something to this. Maybe we can do something to begin to make a difference. What was that for you? And did you have any experience hearing about women organizing to end things like the incarceration of women and girls prior to that?
None of us did, to be actually honest. Not even you, coming in there as a former attorney. When I first met you, none of us did, okay? What really made us turn to the point we turned into, because nothing applied to us. No laws applied to us. They come out to New York, "Oh, we going home. We're going to get 80% off. Oh, the new law's coming out. We can go out now. We can get out." And everything we put in, everything is denied. Everything applied to the men, and they all the same laws, and it still didn't apply to the women. It was so crazy. And we didn't understand it at all. But when you came through the door, as a former attorney, you know what I'm saying? You came up, you said, "Listen, y'all, don't even get your hopes up on that. That doesn't apply to you. Stop writing. you know, right there. We have to figure out a way that we can come together and see what we can do. We didn't even use the word organized then.
Right.
We just came together on the grounds, on the park, on an outside bench or wherever we can come together, in the library, on the bench, down the hill in the rec, where we can come together and just talk. When sometimes we had so much trauma and so much trauma built up in us, we were so hurt and broken as women. So we came together really to support and help one another. So that's how we came together as an organization, as a sisterhood, just supporting and helping one another.
Tell me a little bit about becoming what like we use all these big fancy terms and say all these, things about, how we need to become more educated about the issues. You, for instance, lead right now, phenomenally, one of the most fantastic fellowships in the country for formerly incarcerated women, the Free Her Fellowship. And what was that like for you to get to a place in your own personal evolution and education to now lead such an amazing fellowship that really does politicize our sisters? What was that evolution for you like?
Well, first of all, the evolution for me was, in the beginning, I was not politicized. Words was flying past me, I had no idea what they was. Legal terms flying past me, I had no idea what they was. But as we evolved and started moving forward and talking about these things, you know what I'm saying? Getting educated on these things coming up, but we learning of what this means and what that means, and then we did our first fellowship, that I did not lead, you know what I'm saying? And just sitting there learning, how many people in the world that's not politicized like me as in my age group, it was scary to me. When I was learning and I seen how things was going and what this mean and what it meant to be from slavery to incarceration, how the world is revolving and how things is revolving around us and things that we just do not know. If you don't know, you just don't know, you know? And so as I was learning, I just kept my ears open, listened big, until I can learn what was going on. And once I learned, I was able to come back and educate, bring awareness, and teach everything I learned. And I do that to everybody. I talk about this to everybody I bump into every day, because only way that we can get this to move forward in this movement is politicize the people.
You now, and you, as I said, you were a founder of the National Council. You've lead a number of pieces of the work that we do at the National Council, but now you also lead a hub of the National Councils that is also your own vision of moving and advancing and making a contribution towards ending incarceration of women and girls. And that's our office in Harlem, New York, where you're from.
Yes.
And it's called Step Beyond Women and Girls. Yes. Why was that so important for you? From day one, when we said we're going to do this work, we didn't even have an office then.
Right.
We had nothing then. But we were like, we're going to figure this out. You always said from day one, I'm from Harlem, and it means everything. Someday, we are going to have an office space and a hub, an organizing space in Harlem, for my people in Harlem. Right. Why were you so moved and determined that now you have that space? What does that mean to you? Why did that mean so much to you?
Well, basically, first of all, it meant so much to me is because as you move forward and you learn, I created a lot of harm in Harlem as I look back from my future, from looking back to right now. And not only myself, me and a whole lot of people, we created a lot of harm in Harlem because they came and dropped a bale of cotton in the middle of Harlem and we fell for it, And we created a lot of harm. And now that I learned what that meant and the harm I created, and I want to go back and uncreate some of that harm and politicize our people in Harlem and let them know that that was harm and it's harmful to hurt our people, And And so to go back and save our people in Harlem, and, and our people all across the globe, because you know we are national and we are everywhere. So we spread the same language I want to do for Harlem, I want to do for every state around the country, you know. And so that's why I want to uncreate the harm I created. And we need so much help. We need so much help, you know what I'm saying? We cannot no longer live off of hope. We have, we can no longer live off of hope. You know what I'm saying? We have to get out and make it happen because no one is coming to save us, as you say. We have to save ourselves.
Let me ask you one last question. We talk a lot about the struggles, the hardship. Actually, I want to ask you two more questions. We talk a lot about the struggle, the hardships that we all have to go through, but talk a little bit about what it means to be a part of the sisterhood that we have, both at the National Council and also globally at the International Network. What does that mean to you?
I'm going to tell you something. It is like the most.
Oh my God.
Two questions. Can you just reintroduce her, like reintro her again, just like lead in, and then we finish it.
Let them go to the steps. They going to the second floor for lunch.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
I'll just get out the front.
Yeah. Okay. Get to getting there. Get out. Where's your bag? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring it back in. Let just a few more people. You guys are quiet. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Virginia Douglas, co-founder and leadership team of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women, the founder also of a Step Beyond Women and Girls out of Harlem, New York. In wrapping our conversation, I just want to ask again, what does it mean for you to have come from back then, we're going back now 14, 16 years, to, you know, sitting in a prison yard, talking about organizing ourselves to end incarceration of women and girls, to where we are today? What is that sisterhood? What has it meant to have a national network of formerly incarcerated and currently incarcerated women who are doing this work and also have now created an international network? What does that mean to you?
You know, if you would have asked me this question 16 years ago, I would have said, what the heck are you talking about? To be honest, you know what I'm saying? You know, like I never truly really thought that this was my calling. But when I started this work, when I got into this work and I started this work, I felt this work in my heart. See, you cannot, this is not something you can just say, oh, I'm just gonna be an organizer, or I'm just gonna start an organization, or I'm just gonna get a 501(c) and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. You have to feel it. You have to want it, and you have to want to do this work. The work is not easy. This work is very, very hard. People look at us every day and think that we're just going happy and we just doing, no, this work is very hard, but you have to want to do it. I am so proud of my whole life. You know, as I came home, hitting the ground running with a job for the first time in my life, running up and down Sylvia's counter every day. You know what I'm saying? And at night coming and joining us in the network. You know what I'm saying? Doing this work. You know, and right now, as from far as we started, with you coming home, selling dishcloths that grandma sent down to prison, and I didn't know how to crochet, so I had to buy the yarn. You know what I'm saying? To start the organization, from getting out and coming, getting on the ground and running, from where we were back then today and where we at today, I am truly proud of us all and our sisterhood. And without us, and I mean us as a sisterhood, together we could have never done it. And in order to get to our point where we need to get to, we still have to do it together because we have to stay together. We can't do it by ourselves. We need a whole community. We need the power of the people. And the best way that we're doing this right now is moving forward with the National Council for incarcerated, formerly incarcerated women and girls, as we came up with reimagining our communities. Because now we don't need anyone to take care of us, because the community can take care of the community.
Last question. What brings you joy?
What brings me joy? Two things. Two things. My family first. My family truly brings me joy, and the work I do today. This is my work, this is my joy. I sleep, eat, breathe, and live this work.
Thank you.